Hello everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I'm here tonight live. It is the solar eclipse day on Monday, April 8th, 2024. If you are just joining me live, welcome, welcome. Wow, we had a big eclipse. It was amazing. I don't know if anybody got to see it or experience it or whatever. This is the big day of really this one, one of the biggest astrological days of this year. And it just so happens to be on my Monday Night Live on Facebook. And if you have never checked me out before, I am live every Monday night on my Facebook astrology page. 8 p.m. Eastern time, or I co-record also for YouTube where I post the replay. And thank you to all the replay people. Thanks for joining me. But boy, this was the big solar eclipse, new moon, super moon. I mean, there was a lot of things going on today. So if you're just joining me, go ahead and comment below. What is your astrological sign? Where are you tuning in from? And I'd love to hear all about how you experienced this wonderful eclipse. And remember, even if you didn't see it, energetically, we got a major download today. There was a major shift going on. Hey, Emily, welcome. You are my first one to comment. You didn't get to see the eclipse in Florida, but you are still Sagittarius, Cancer, Scorpio. That's amazing. Wendy, everything perfectly timed. This was really amazing. Wonderful energy, big energy, an astrological shift, if you will. And oh my goodness, there's just so many things going on right now. I have a lot of feelings and emotions about it. I did get to see the eclipse. I'm luckily located in an area where I was able to view it, and I did post those pictures on my Instagram and on my Facebook page. But oh my gosh, it was just overwhelming. It was really in all the good possible ways that it could be overwhelming. We are just, in just the hours beyond this eclipse. So I was like, I have to calm down enough to do this because I was really ramped up. I just had tears flowing down my face. Like I couldn't even, it wasn't even I was trying to cry or anything. It was just came out, and it was just almost uncontrollable because of overwhelming beauty and just all of these things. I'm such an astrology nerd, that it just makes my heart sing when an astronomical event like this is taking over the news, and that's what we're talking about, instead of silly politics and all the stuff that we tend to dwell on. I mean, this is the thing. This is the big good stuff. So Till, thank you so much. 500 stars for the eclipse watching. Thank you for that. Stars are a way of giving a little donation tip to the broadcast, and I love it. Almir, yes, from Vermont, Taurus. The eclipse of this world was, you might have felt a little out of kilter. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I mean, we are one with the universe, with the solar system, and that's the thing, we're not separate from these energies, where it's all part of us. We are one, and we're part of all of the world. So it's just an amazing, oh gosh, it was such an amazing event. Okay, so I'm going to get started on This Week in Astrology. I'm going over this week on April 8th, 2024, going all the way into April 14th, April 14th, 2024. So welcome if you're just joining me. Yes, Naomi said roller coaster of a day. It could be. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Now that we're post-eclipse. And you guys know, last week I talked a little bit about the eclipse. I also posted a special YouTube video, YouTube exclusive, and that was all about the eclipse as well. Went over each individual astrological sign and how it will affect them on a personal level. So if you haven't checked out my eclipse video yet on YouTube, it's on my channel. Make sure that you do that, because it's I go into depth in each sign. I'm not going to do that tonight, but I'm going to just sort of touch in on so some people are saying they felt amazing. I'm one of them. And then there's other people here that are going, yeah, not so much. Rocky, rolly, bumpy. Okay, so that's the deal with eclipses, right? So eclipses are not just all 100% positive energy. I wish they were. But eclipses can be a very wonky experience because remember, we're cutting off the computer, it's just like a computer analogy, right? We're cutting off the planet's energy for just a moment and then it comes back online. And so I always say, the reason why you would reboot your computer at home is because it's glitchy, right? So when we turn it back on, sometimes it's still glitchy. Sometimes you still get error messages and sometimes it doesn't even come back on. And sometimes that computer is, no longer with us. And so it's something that, it can be bumpy. It's up and down. That's why I have said to people, it's actually not advisable to do magic or a lot of manifestation work on eclipse days. You just want to be with the energy and allow it to do its thing. Come up, it's kind of like if you were trying to turn back on the computer and you're going to run a Windows update and you're going to, try to download a new app and you're going to upgrade the keyboard and why are you going to do that? It's just going to make everything harder and longer and kind of like it's too much energy at that moment to try to do all those things. So what I tell people is just sit with the energy. Now, I did send out prayers to myself, to humanity, thanking, the universe, God, whoever you want to pray to. I was thanking, showing gratitude, all that stuff. But really, it's you want to just kind of keep it a little low key, and kind of just, let the computer turn back on and do its thing. And everything has to come online, right? All the pixels and all the apps have to update, so that's the way it is with eclipses. That's why it's better for more. I'm struggling because I want to use a word that, and I feel like I have to clarify if I use this word. In magic, and really in life, right? If you think of yin and yang, right? Feminine and masculine energies are more strongly archetypally aligned with the doingness, though I'm not saying women don't do, that's not what I'm talking about, but it's more aligned with the fighting, the tigers and the building, constructing a bridge and whatever else, like it's the action. Okay. And then when we look at feminine energies, that's a more receptive, open energy that's a little bit more, I don't want to use the word passive, but I'm not exactly sure how to phrase that. So when you look at magic or manifesting, there's sort of like a way of doing it in a more masculine way where you're lighting candles and you're doing the spells and you're doing that. And that's good work. It's not an either or. Both are divine. Both masculine and feminine energies are divine. And so there's a time to do and a time to be receptive and to pray and nurture and meditate and be compassionate. And that's more aligned with the feminine archetype. Not that men can't do that too, but I'm just talking archetypally here with the yin and the yang. So when you look at I'm using the word magic or spells or rituals or all these types of things that we do, this is a more feminine it's called for a more feminine approach or a passive approach or a more contemplative, more spiritual, more still approach, a little bit more zen. And so that's the way you want to approach these eclipses. I have so many people that were, asking me all these questions like, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? It's like, no, don't do. Be like, that saying, you're not a human doing, you're a human being. Have you ever heard that expression? So it's like about being. And so allow the computer to come back online, allow that to just do its thing and trust in the universe, in God, Buddha, whoever your angels are that you pray to or your spirit guides, that they got this. They can figure it out. If they can make that happen, we can figure this out. So that's one of the things that we want to do. And yeah, eclipse times can be real wonky. Yeah, Emily, you said definitely a weird day, high stress, but resolve things. Yeah, I mean, so that can be a wonky kind of energy. And so you just want to just allow it to come back online and do its thing. If it's not meant to, it'll fall away. And if it's meant to continue in your life, it'll go through some kind of weird change. And then all of a sudden it'll come back online and it'll be maybe even a different version of that. Because remember, we're just getting a massive download of change, and today is day one of the change. Remember that this puppy lasts for 6 months, all the way until the next full moon in Aries, which is on October 17th, 2024. So this thing is activated and reverberating all this time. Day one, we can sit out. We can just let it do its thing. Let's let it marinate. Let's let it, kind of come back online, like I said, and just sort of do its thing. I even said that on one of my photos. The sun was starting to come back, and I said, oh, the sun's coming back online. So we want to just take a moment, allow the energies to assimilate, allow the reverberations to come through us, but we don't have to do anything. We can just go to bed, take a nap, feel, refreshed hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 2, of the energy. So, because it's a lot of energy. So I want to talk about what's happened not only today with the eclipse and everything, because I did have like I said, a dedicated video to that on my YouTube channel. So I don't want to say the same thing. But I want to get into, because there's more to come. There's more energies to come this week. So it's not over yet. I told you this April is going to be one of the biggest months of 2024, and we're in it now. We're in it. And boy, I'll never forget that experience that I had. I just learned recently that there are eclipse chasers. Like you hear of tornado chasers or hurricane chasers. There's eclipse chasers, and they go all around the world. And I can see why. Honestly, I can. I don't know that I would ever do that. And I hope that would be fun one day to do that. See eclipses in different areas. And make sure, by the way, I know that I'm just telling a few people here. A lot of people are throwing away their glasses, their eclipse glasses. Save them, because they're good for partial eclipses. They're good for penumbral eclipses. They're good for all different types of other whatever eclipses. Not just this big, beautiful, total eclipse, but there's other eclipses coming, and we can see them very often. I'm always talking about, remember, there's like 3, I can't remember, it's 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 per year. It's come in pairs. So there's a full moon eclipse and then a solar eclipse. Today was the solar. The last lunar eclipse was March 25th, which was only like a partial penumbral eclipse, which was just really a shadow. But this one was by far like unbelievably spectacular. So yes, exactly, Ashley Ann, that you were, yeah, I was also photographing too. But when I talk about being active, I mean, we don't have to cleanse our crystals and write our letters and do all this stuff. Actually, it's not even advised to do that. We're going to wait until, at least I am, you can do you, boo, whatever feels right. I always tell people, if it resonates with you to do that. But I will just say, on average, that's my blanket advice to people, is to just kind of chill, let the energies do its thing, reverberate, trust in your angels that they got you. You don't have to like kind of be at it. That's very human of us to like want to be at it. But we're going to hopefully be able to write out our new moon manifestation next Monday. Okay, so that's going to be coming on the second chance. I call it the second chance new moon. That's going to be coming on April 15th, 2024. That is in Cancer, 3:13 p.m. Eastern time on next Monday. That's the next chance new moon. So I would say that would be a great time to manifest. If you really want to, like, I really, really want to do something because I have some things on my mind that I want to manifest, that's a great time to manifest. And then you'll burn your list the following week on the full moon, which is coming on Tuesday, April 23rd. And that's going to be full moon in Scorpio. So Taurus and sun sign, because we'll be in Taurus season by then, and then Scorpio full moon, and that's a pink moon, okay? And that's going to be coming on Tuesday, April 23rd. So that'll be a big full moon. It's kind of interesting because the new moon that always takes place every year in Aries is the like kind of the more strongest new moon of the year. Because if you think about new beginnings, new moons, Aries moons, all this stuff is new. So the strongest full moon of the year is the Scorpio moon, and that's all coming at, comes in the same time. So this is a powerful way that we kick off the astrological new year, which, you know, comes at the spring equinox, not this January 1st stuff, you know. So I am going to get into what is coming this week, because like I said, there's more to come, not just this from this eclipse, but there is more to come. So I have to talk about, or I don't have to, but I'm choosing to. I want to talk about the conjunction. There's a big conjunction, and I'm going to keep talking about this conjunction, which I've been talking about since January, just to like remind you, okay, between Jupiter and Uranus, okay? It's coming to a peak on April 20th. I keep saying 420 to help you remember. That's the big day. Think of it, the maximum that it's going to be the whole year is going to be 10:27 p.m. Eastern time. But please don't make that mistake of it's just that day, because it's been active since last month. And I'm going to just show you here on my, I printed out today's astrological chart just so I could show you, and I made this dark, and I'm trying to show it here on YouTube and also on Facebook, but this is the conjunction. They're already together. Okay, they're already together. So they've been together for a while. Jupiter right now is 19 degrees and Uranus is 21 degrees, okay? And they're together already. They're hanging out in Taurus. So I know a few Tauruses that are on the broadcast. You will feel this very, very strongly. So Aries, you guys felt that new moon. Libra, you guys felt that maybe even like a full moon. And then we got Taurus now too involved. And then we also have the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Capricorn, and also the other fixed signs, which are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. So Jupiter and Uranus are together in Taurus right now, okay? And so these two are hanging out side by side. So Uranus is change. Jupiter makes everything bigger. And so they're together. So why am I bringing up this right now? Because they're being highlighted this week. They're in the form of a semi-square and a semi-sextile, which is half a square and half of a sextile. So that's not a big deal. But today, behind the scenes of the eclipse, the sun formed a semi-sextile with Jupiter. And then Venus formed a semi-square with Jupiter today, okay, during the eclipse, okay? Now on Wednesday, and that is coming on this Wednesday, April 10th, Venus is going to form a semi-square with Uranus, and the sun is going to form a semi-sextile with Uranus. So you see how they're being highlighted, Jupiter today during this new moon, and then on Wednesday we have Uranus being highlighted. So remember, we just had an earthquake. Earthquake alert. So, you know, there's going to be stuff like that happening behind the scenes. So why is this such a big deal? And by the way, the last time that these two came together, you know, in the skies, the Jupiter and Uranus, was right before the 2011 tsunami in Japan. Just going to say it was active during that month. And so now we have an eclipse and these things are active. So, I mean, there's definitely this whole month. I mean, part of last month and into this month is having this Jupiter Taurus thing. And so it's just change. Big, big, big change. Where is Taurus in your astrological chart? Where's Scorpio in your astrological chart? And you will know how this change is coming in. So eclipses are change. And then this Jupiter Taurus thing is change, or Jupiter and Uranus thing is change as well. So, you know, I mean, this is all big stuff. And, you know, Uranus can be a destabilizer. It can make things shaky. It can make things, you know, feel a little bit wonky. And so a couple people said, I feel a little wonky. I mean, that can also be why too, you know. Uranus, you know, I always talk, a lot of astrologers talk about how Uranus is, they speak about Uranus as if it's a negative planet. They call it a malefic planet in astrology. I don't feel quite that way about it. I won't say it's like all 100% happy. It's just change. It is a destabilizer. It's trying to create some kind of, you know, shift. And so I wouldn't say it's negative. I often see inspiration. I often see times of, you know, doing something new because you want to do something new. I mean, that can be very, very powerful. So when we have Jupiter and Uranus hanging out together, Jupiter just makes everything bigger. Now, good news is Jupiter's optimism, expansion. It can be cup is half full instead of half empty. This is a big time for risk taking. So if you have anything you want to do in these next few weeks, not just now, just like the next few weeks, this could be a time. Just keep in mind that Mercury is still retrograde. That's the only glitch of all this energy we got. We have all this big change energy, and then Mercury's retrograde. So it's really like we're going to get a lot of downloads. So if you want to write something down, write down your ideas, write down what inspires you during this time, because remember, the other piece of this, the other factor that's in play here is are these planets are also conjuncting the north node of the moon here. So if you look at the planetary thing here, you know, I mean, the north node of the moon is in play as well, and that's a big situation. So we have the sun 19 degrees, moon 19 degrees, Aries, north node of the moon 19 degrees or 15 degrees, and then we have Chiron 19 degrees. So see, we have big energies all like kind of smushed into here, and the north node of the moon, which came to a peak. The North Node formed a conjunction with the Sun, or I should say the Sun formed a conjunction with North Node last Wednesday on April 3rd, but you can see they're still all together. So remember, the North Node of the Moon is our destiny. What are we meant to do here in this life? Where are we headed? Where are we going? What's our goals? What's our plans? How to get there? You know, all that stuff. And so the North Node of the Moon is also leading the way here. And then we have Chiron, which is something we need to heal. And then we have this Jupiter Uranus thing in Taurus that's also coming together, and they're aligning and they're going, but wait a minute, how about the Taurus department okay over here? How about having it be grounded? How about making a plan? How about looking at our finances? How about cha-ching, does this pay us money? Because Aries is the leader, right? Aries is the head of all of the fire signs. It's the very first sign of the zodiac, which rules over the first house, which is our self. Okay, so you have the self-confidence to make this happen. Well, if not, you got to work on you, boo. You got to go internal. You got to go inside right now and figure out what the glitch is. What is the problem? What is holding you back? And then the second house ruler, which is Taurus, is like, and do we get paid over here? Can I get paid? Like, how about money? How about some material gain? And also things you value. So if you think about that Taurus practicality, you know, what do you value? Do you value yourself? Because Aries is reminding us to value us, value what we want. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, all this is good. Some people might find that to be glitchy because some people don't like to think about themselves. They like to think more about other people. And so sorry, but you're being asked right now to be just a little spiritually selfish. And then Taurus wants to be paid and have those practical steps. So this isn't even a pie in the sky situation. This is going, okay, how can I really work this and how can I make this happen? Now we have something else that's also going on because it's so much. So just so you know, Monday and Wednesday, this Jupiter Taurus thing is being activated by the Sun and also by Venus. So we have that happening, okay? Now on Wednesday, again the 10th, this is all on the same day. We have the conjunction. We have two very important conjunctions this week, other than this whole eclipse situation. So we have a conjunction between Mars and Saturn. That's the other conjunction that we have that's going on behind the scenes. And it's a big, deal. So here is Mars and Saturn, okay? And these two are in Pisces. So now we're pulling Pisces into this. You can see even just from today's, it's 13 and 14 degrees, but by the time we get to Wednesday, they'll both be the same degree. They're both in Pisces. And so Mars is in Pisces. Saturn's been in Pisces, for a while now. And so now we get into a little bit of pie in the sky, but wait a minute. We got Saturn going on here. So Mars is our doing. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? In Pisces, like I've said to you before, we've talked about this before, but it's a little wonky because Pisces is the fish. And so our movement is a little different, right? Our movement right now is a little bit Neptune-ish, okay? So it's not a straight direct line. It can be a little fishy, if you will. So Mars is our go, 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 go. But Saturn's the brakes. So I always say Mars is kind of like the engine in the car or the accelerator pedal, and Mars or Saturn in the car is the brakes. Have you ever put your foot on the accelerator pedal and the brakes at the same time? You're just going to spin your wheels. So what the deal is, and what Pisces is doing here, is that's the spiritual gatekeeper. Okay, so we have Pisces, Aries, and Taurus really super activated right now. Pisces wants to be spiritually aligned with something. Aries is like, let's just think of something to get ahead and come up with a new idea and start a new project. And Taurus is like, wait. Did we plan anything? Did we work this out and map it out? And like, Taurus is an earth sign. So Taurus is much more practical. So we have these three signs really activated. So again, if you are a Pisces or a Virgo, if you're an Aries or a Libra, if you are a Taurus or a Scorpio, you're going to be feeling all this. And then that drags in all the other water signs, the fire signs, the the earth signs. So this is a lot of energy right now, all kind of squished in. And if you guys saw, if any of you are friends with me on Facebook and you saw my cover photo, I meant to bring that with me tonight. But, the planets are literally looking like this in the sky. They're all in one big line. Okay, that's basically what's happening. And you will be able to see, I think, Mars and Saturn active in the sky this week. So there's not just this astronomic event with the eclipse, but there's also another astronomic event where Mars and Saturn are going to be together too. And we may be able to possibly see Saturn if you have like a low power telescope or something, but we'll definitely be able to see Mars in the sky. So it's pretty exciting here, with them all kind of being together like that. And whether or not you can see them doesn't even matter. Like, I know a lot of people were like feeling left out if they didn't live, in an area of totality. I always say you're going to feel the energy anyway, whether you saw it or not, because that's what happens. We get a big download of energy from the planet. So this Mars Saturn thing could be a little bit wonky. Again, Saturn's saying, take a break, make a plan. Did you figure it all out? Did you come up with anything? Saturn's the break. Saturn wants to like really make sure, is all this like some cockamamie BS here, or is this a real thing? And so Saturn, we want to go. We got all this Aries energy. Aries wants to get moving. The ruler of Aries is Mars, so he wants to get motivated. But we have Mercury retrograde in Aries, and then we have Saturn in Pisces saying no. Aligning with Mars, saying no to Mars, don't go anywhere yet. Let's make sure we're spiritually okay with everything. Now, this is very good for creativity or spirituality or, anything like that. More right brain stuff where you're thinking about creativity and things like that. That's very, very good for that. It's not a bad thing, but it's saying slow it down a little. And so remember, Mercury's going to be retrograde till April 25th. And so that's a time where we can go. Okay. Like I say, don't forget, you can do the homework behind the scenes. You're supposed to do that now. You're supposed to do all the research. You're supposed to come up with map out the plan, write the list, kind of map everything, kind of get everything situated so that you can fire that off as soon as the retrograde is finished. Now, I did talk about what to do if you absolutely have to do something during Mercury retrograde. What's a good time? Well, Thursday on April. So just so that you know, I should say before I go into that, just one quick second, the Mars Saturn is coming to a peak, a pinnacle, a maximum on April 10th at 4:36 p.m. Eastern time, so earlier than that if you're on the West Coast. And that can also feel wonky. Like I said, it can make you feel, it's like, I just want to get this done. Oh, now I'm stuck in traffic. Or I just want to get this done. Oh crap, now I ran out of paper for my printer. And I just want to get this done. You see what I'm saying? So this can be wonky, frustrating energy. I just want to say that. You might feel a little bit like you're running up a hill with like mud under your shoes, you know? I mean, that can be the way that can feel. But then when we get into Thursday, when I talked about power days, I was talking about Mercury retrograde and what possibly could be a good day. If you absolutely have to do something, you have to make a sales pitch, you have to, have a big talk with somebody, you have to do it soon. You can't wait until April 25th. Okay, so the good day is April 11th, when Sun and Mercury form an alignment. Now they're coming together in a conjunction. And yes, that's something, so actually you could have, one of my friends said that he saw with his telescope during the eclipse Mercury right above the eclipse, because Mercury and the Sun are almost together right now. So remember, Mercury is in this lineup here, which is retrograde. Yes, of course it's retrograde. But Mercury is in this lineup here, okay? The computer kind of put it out to the side a little bit, but Mercury's actually up in here. It's just the computer kind of ran out of room. But Mercury is involved with this. And so Mercury and the Sun come together in a conjunction at 7:03 p.m. Eastern time is the height of it, the pinnacle of it, the peak of it, the maximum, but they're almost together now. I mean, even as of the day of the recording here, the Sun is 19 degrees, Mercury is 25 degrees. So these two are almost, they're almost like this. So having them come together is a power day. Now, I always say what happens during Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury, normally when it's direct, it's going, and it kind of appears from the planet to go ahead of the Sun. And then in the retrograde, it slows down and then goes backwards, and then it appears from the planet to go behind the Sun. So that's the deepening portion of the retrograde, and it always happens right about in the middle. So I always say that's the middle sort of time of the retrograde. And that's coming this week on April 11th. But the days around the time when it aligns with the Sun are busy days usually. So again, even though we have the brakes, Saturn's coming along, putting on the brakes, we're still wanting to keep going. So that's a good power day. I mean, that's a day of a lot of activity. Usually there's a lot of calls, emails, texts, what's this? Did you turn in this file? Did you do that? Did you do this? It tends to be very, very busy, and it's all happening in Aries, by the way. And so that's going to be on Thursday. And so if you have to do a presentation or do a sales pitch or, whatever thing it is, that's a good day to do it. If you have to, and you absolutely can't wait. Yes. Oh, I like that. Wendy said, tie yourself to a boulder, etch your memoirs in it, and then roll it down the hill while crossing your fingers. Yeah. That's really funny. I like that. Hey, Charlie, welcome. You have Chiron in Aries 5th house. Well, see, there you go. You're probably having your Chiron return, which is going to be happening at some point during that time. Everybody in life has a Chiron return. There's a lot of famous returns. Saturn return, we talk about. The solar return, which is your birthday. Chiron return happens the peak of it happens between the ages of 50 and 51. And so everybody has a Chiron return in their lifetime. And that can be a time of a lot of healing work that we have to do on ourselves. And some people say it can be painful. I had kind of a painful Chiron return. That was actually when I fell down the stairs and I literally had to heal my legs and all of that. So that is a Chiron return point of life when we turn that age. And they call it a midlife, kind of time, but it is a time, men and women, we have to heal ourselves. And that's a big time of life, those ages 50 to 51. Yes. Oh, you're releasing your audiobook on the 11th. There you go, Ashley Ann. And so you want to do it, Ashley Ann, you don't want to do it before 9 a.m., just so that you know. And that's a good day, actually, to release your book because the moon will be in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, talking, disseminating information, right, all that stuff, networking. And so that's good. And then I would try to get it closer to the peak of that thing, which is going to be at 7:03 p.m. Eastern time. Earlier than that, if you're on the West Coast, 3:03 p.m. if you're on the West Coast on April 11th. So if you can get it towards the end of the day or closer to it, but I wouldn't do it before 9 a.m. Ashley, because that's when the moon is void and you don't want to release things during void moons ever. I want to actually, at some point, I'm going to record a void moon specific video, because there's ways to use the void moon, which is really kind of fun. You can work with the energy, which is good. Yeah, so late in the afternoon, Ashley Ann. Yeah, that would be fine. Okay, so that's all those are the big things. We still have a couple more things, but those are the big astrological energies. It was the eclipse. In the background, this Jupiter Taurus stuff being activated. Then we have Saturn and Mars coming together, and then that's on Wednesday, and then on Thursday. And remember, they're active right now. All of these conjunctions are active. Conjunctions, so that you know, are when one planet and the other planet kind of look like they're meeting up in the sky and they're in the same astrological sort of point. And it means they're fully aligning their energies. So you cannot get any stronger transit than a conjunction. Conjunctions are the strongest transits. And we have 3 major conjunctions this week, with the sun and the moon, obviously, and then Chiron too. So that was a triple conjunction. And then we have that Saturn Mars, and then we have the sun and Mercury. So we have really a lot of conjunctions going on in the astrological sort of skies here. And then the other thing we have on Friday, coming on April 12th, we have Ceres in Capricorn forming a trine with Uranus in Taurus. So we have the earth signs being activated. The peak of that, the pinnacle of that, is going to be at 8:35 a.m. Eastern time on Friday morning, TGIF. And so those two coming together in a positive trine. Trine means they're both in that same element, earth sign element, Taurus and Capricorn. We have a lot of healing, a lot of practicality. Ceres, remember, is the great mother. So she's really good at nurturing, caretaking, compassion, all of that stuff. So if you need to nurture something, now here's the fun thing. Ceres in Capricorn is nurturing our career. Could be literally nurturing a parent, a mom or a dad, because Capricorn's ruled by Saturn, which is the dad. And then we have Ceres is the great mother. So that's like mom and dad in one, kind of thing. But here we're supposed to be nurturing our organizational, our career, possibly even literally a parent in our life. But this is some nurturing. Now, the only thing is that it's highlighting Uranus, and Uranus, remember, is kind of the destabilizer. Uranus is up and down, up and down, up and down. Uranus actually is the ruler of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but specifically Bitcoin. In case anybody out there dabbles in any of that stuff, that's why it's very topsy-turvy. It's on the way up right now, but it might be kind of doing some weird things with all this Uranus Jupiter energy. So that's another thing. It might be approaching its peak. The Bitcoin might be approaching its peak, and then it's possibly straight down from there. Who knows? But I'm not a financial astrologer, but I do know a bit about this type of energy, and I do know that Uranus is the ruler of Bitcoin's astrological chart. So a little funny sort of side note there. So if you're looking to stabilize your career, stabilize your finances, we got to nurture it. We got to love it. We got to caress it and just sort of, finesse it a little bit. And that could help us. The Ceres energy could help us in that department. That's coming on Friday. Now this weekend, thank the heavens, is a little bit more astrologically quiet. I feel like we need some downtime from after this eclipse, kind of thing. Tomorrow actually is going to be pretty quiet too, astrologically, on April 9th. But this weekend, the 13th on Saturday, is a little bit busier than Sunday. It has a semi-sextile, and it has a semi-square. One of the semi-squares on Saturday, the 13th, is Mars is going to form a semi-square with Pluto. So that could form, and that's going to be at 4:57 p.m. on Friday, late afternoon on Saturday the 13th. Mars semi-square Pluto could be a little a little ouchy. Okay, so we want to watch that, especially almost around 5 p.m. Eastern time. And again, adjust wherever you are looking at this broadcast from, whatever time zone. But Mars and Pluto, even in a semi-square, that's considered to be minor, but it can be minor conflict. You know, it can be a little ouchy point there. So you just want to watch that on Saturday afternoon. That could be a little sharp, a little pointy, a little edgy. So just remember, you know, be nice, play well with others, you know, all that good stuff. But that is it for this week in astrology. And I want to say that is it, but there was a lot of very pointed energy factors. And like I said, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, all being aspected in the heart of it. But then there's all these other signs that are being pulled into this. So it's a very sort of topsy-turvy like kind of thing, and it's not all worked out yet. So yes, we got the download today. We have the download of change coming in. Somebody asked me recently what downloading means. It's kind of like having an epiphany. It's kind of like a shift in energies. It is when you ever have a time in your life where you wake up, or you went, you know, you were doing something and you didn't even know why, but you knew this thing. It's kind of like that. It's sort of like a form of claircognizance. But I feel that we all on this planet can feel energies. It just depends on, are there certain people, like every once, I think that's like 1% of the population. I don't think it's even hardly maybe half of 1%, you know, that can't, but most people can. I actually feel the majority of people can actually feel energies. It just depends on how you feel them and how you experience them. And everybody feels and experiences energies differently. Sometimes people are clairvoyant, meaning that they see visions of things. Sometimes people hear messages or just receive feelings, or whatever the case may be. You know, they get the hair on the back of their, how do you receive your energy? How do you receive your information? And that's just your method. That's like, most people have a primary way, and then after there's secondary and third ways that they will receive information. Most people have one primary way of doing it, at least. So I'm a big believer in energy. I mean, almost everybody has had some kind of a thing where the phone rang and they knew it was their whatever sister, or they got a feeling, oh, I shouldn't go this way, and then they heard there was a big traffic jam or something. I mean, everybody's had millions of those, like, and then we die and we say I had millions of coincidences in my life, and it's like, no, you didn't. You got downloaded on something. So that's what it is. I mean, so yeah, so I feel like we do, and then especially during these big planetary times, we are definitely being downloaded, whether we're awake, whether we're dreaming, whether we're receiving messages, whether we're, pay attention, especially to what is happening around an eclipse, because that's how that will affect you on a personal level. Now, of course, if you guys want to have a personalized astrological session, please feel free to contact me. Yeah, if you want to know how all this energy is affecting you, and yeah, it's fun to look at, but also this is where it's going to be affecting you, not just today, but for 6 months at least. Unless if it's your birthday, and that could be a whole year of energies. So it's very pinpointed. These energies are very pinpointed. So there's a lot of them. All right, so I'm open to taking questions tonight. I know it was a lot of energy, but I feel like I've already done a couple of videos about it. So I think you guys pretty well know. And definitely make sure you check out that YouTube video if you haven't yet. That's your astrological sign specific for the broadcast, because I think it's good. So Ashley Ann asked, what about dating advice for dating apps right now? Pause those dating apps. Dating apps right now are anytime Mercury's retrograde, it's a no bueno. it's not an ideal thing, because whatever starts during the retrograde often kind of starts to reverse. That's why we don't do things during Mercury retrograde, because sometimes it can get undone after the retrograde's over. So no dating apps. You have to wait till April 25th. I would put it on pause and focus on you, boo, because remember, Aries is all about the self. Okay, Wendy. Oh, you pull a card for your business. Should you stay or should you go? Do. That's what she wants to know. Okay. Kelly, you're starting, oh my God, on the 25th, a new job. Well, hopefully it's after 9 a.m. 8:54 a.m. is when Mercury goes direct. So that's a bit wonky to start a new job on the 25th. But I think, didn't we talk that it was the same, that you were going back maybe to a different job you had already done before? Hey, Jennifer, welcome. All right, Wendy, I'm gonna pull a couple cards. Let me just see. What does Wendy need to know about her career? These cards are just okay. All right, you know, Wendy, I think you might be a little bit burnt out. I don't even have to pull any more cards. That's it. That's all the cards you get, Wendy. Because this is what they're saying. Take a break, you know, retreat, take a break, Wendy. To block out distractions, spend quiet time alone so you can focus on your priorities. Like, you just need a break. Like, look, she's just kind of chilling. You know, she's looking out the window. She's daydreaming. She's kind of wishing she was elsewhere. She has a little hat there, which is kind of funny. I don't know. Like, I feel like you need to just take a break because you might be tired, or you might be kind of worn out, or, you know, burnt out. Like, I mean, look, I always tell people, even if you love your job, you love it. It's like if I told you, if let's say you loved pizza and that was your favorite food of all time and you're just eating pizza. Well, if I put you in front of pizza and you had to like eat 45 pizzas in one shot, you'd be like, oh my God, stop. I can't even, I'm sick of pizza now. You know what I mean? There are definitely times when even if we love something, it's too much of a good thing. So you just have to kind of take a break for now, Wendy. But card was very specific. Look at that. Keep going. Keep going. So it's not the end of the line. Use any energy of disappointments to fuel your creative project with authentic emotion. Oh my God, it can't be even more specific than that. So keep going, Wendy. It just, after you take the break, keep going, okay? You just need a break, I think. I hope that helps. Yeah, and you want to avoid burnout. Like, we always, even if you love your kids, you need a break from your kids. You love your pets, you need a break from your pets sometimes. Everybody needs a break, a vacation, especially if you love this thing, but you can, you know, there is such a thing as too much, you know, and so that's a thing. That is a thing. Yeah, so I hope that helps. I kind of missed some of these. Naomi, you have a big event. You wondered if I could pull a card. Sure. Okay. Wendy. I said Wendy, but I meant Naomi. Here we go. Yes, a lot of people. Exactly. You work really hard. Yes, and you are your own boss. I always say when we are our own bosses, that can be harder sometimes. All right, Naomi, what does Naomi need to know? I'm gonna pull another card. Naomi, what does she need to know about this big event? There's a lot of pressure on yourself, I think, about this, Naomi. Like, there's a lot of pressure that you're feeling about this. You're getting Saturn, which maybe there's a lot of work involved with it, or a lot of planning, or you've been working on this for a while. But I actually think it's going to go well. You got Jupiter, and then you got Mercury, which is funny. This is the card of communication, which is powered by Mercury. So this is thinking, talking, communicating, teaching, sales, any kind of thing like that. And you need to be a little bit inspired right now. I feel like you're kind of in this, which is more in the minutia, the details, like trying to figure all these things out. Like, it feels long and hard right now, but actually I think you're doing a great job. It's saying, the card Inspired says, yes, your idea is divinely inspired. Take action accordingly to set it into motion. So you had a good idea and it feels like it's getting implemented. It's just that you are a little bit, you know, in the minutia. It feels like something about this feels hard or difficult, but it feels like it pays off in the end. So that's a good news. Yes, that's great. Yes, Ashley Ann, I would apply for the grant. Yes, for sure. Again, closer to that 7 p.m. time if you can. Yeah, wiped out and burnt out. Yeah, I understand that, Wendy. That's totally a thing for sure. Oh, nice, Kelly. You worked as a supervisor there before. That's really good news. That's cool. It's a new position. Okay. All right. That makes sense. You're welcome. You're welcome, Naomi. Yes, Jennifer said breaks are good. Don't give up. Exactly. Exactly. Hi, Gwen. Welcome to the broadcast. Dodie, I can't answer medical things on that. I think that you're, I feel like the answer to that, Dodie, is yes, that the Lyme is playing a factor, but not the cause of this. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that. I don't think it's the causation. I think it's not helping. I mean, that's not going to help either. It's like you have so many layers, Dodie, that it doesn't feel like, oh, I solved this one thing and then all of it goes away. It feels like it feels like it could be there. I get a feeling that it could be there and part of this. I don't think it's everything. So you got a lot of layers. Yes, you're welcome. Yes, breaks are good. Kelly, let's see, who was it that asked me something else here? The chat's going quickly. If anybody has any more questions, otherwise I'm going to wrap up the broadcast. Oh, Charlie, should you get a loan? Okay. Should you get a loan for what? For a business? Let me look here, Charlie. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go back. Well, I'll just ask if you need a loan. All right. Let's see. What does Charlie need to know? Oh, that's a great card. Charlie, this is love, money, and creativity all woven into one. This is the base of this card is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and finances. So that's a yes. That is a yes for a loan. And that has literally money in the title. Love, money, creativity is the card name. So it has the money in the title. Oh, Kristen, yes. I remember you asked a question before and I was just hanging up. So let me get to you, Kristen. You would love a card. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Okay, and then I'm going to pull one more for Kristen. You're welcome, Charlie. I feel like, Kristen, you've been very torn between two things. You're kind of like grappling and going back and forth with two different things, Kristen. This is like she's kind of weighing out what to do. Like she's sort of in this sort of conundrum of, should I be over here? Should I do over this? Like, what should I do? Like, this is that card. She's weighing out things. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just maybe either you have a lot of things pulling at you and you're not exactly sure where to put your energy and where to put your focus, and it's that kind of thing. But I feel like you're kind of like tugged over here and then tugged over here. I mean, that's kind of the card that is. It is saying, though, that this is a time of birth for you. You know, that's pretty cool. New life, such as a new baby, an idea, happy news, or an exciting project blossoms within and around you. So you have something new here that's coming into play. And it's just saying, make sure that you authentically be yourself. This is authenticity. Trust that your real self, whom the universe created divinely perfect, has the strength and knowledge needed for the situation. So if you were doubting yourself in any way, it's saying that this is a good time for you to do these things authentically and to give yourself, you know, a rebirth, a transformation, something. But I kind of feel with this card, with this, it's kind of almost like this card in my deck is similar to the Hangman card. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. And I just sort of feel like it's kind of like the general advice I've been giving too is like, yeah, do your homework. Yeah, do the behind the scenes stuff, but it all has not played out quite yet. It's like you don't have all the pieces yet to make the decision, or you don't have all the information, or there might not, it might even be like that you don't even have really an answer or a solution on how to handle and juggle all this stuff. So it's just going to play out. Okay. But it's kind of feeling like I feel like it's going to kind of play out in a divine way. The universe has our backs, and it's going to kind of, you know, go through its natural paces, I think. So I hope that helps, but you're getting good cards about that birth and that new object, that new project. So that's pretty cool too. Oh, Joanne, I can't tell you that. You know, whether we divorce or not, I mean, that's up to you. That's up to you, my dear. I can't say, oh yes, you should do this, or yes, because that's your soul's. Let me ask this. I'll ask it a different way. What would happen if she says, yes, I want a divorce? We'll say that. And then I'll say, what will happen if she stays in the marriage? And we'll say what happens there. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So if you are really struggling with this, and you feel like as if everything is going to go down like into this big crumble of yuckiness, if it's like almost like an abyss, if you get divorced, if that's the way it feels to me, it's like you're jumping off this cliff into this unknown territory, and that really feels overwhelming and scary. So much so, I just pulled a couple more cards, that you feel like your whole world is going to end. This is the Tower card, and that is really the dreaded card of the deck. It's like you feel like if you do this thing, it's going to just be hopeless and terrible. I don't really get that feeling here. It feels like if you stay, there's going to be, it's like kind of there's a money factor going on. I'm not saying you're staying for the money, because I know you're a strong, independent person. But they're saying that there could be some kind of money thing going on. So maybe you're just having like the safety, the security piece of it, but it's not saying there's love. It's just saying like there's safety and security stuff. If you end up taking and also you fear being alone. Okay, that's your big fear. But it says if you do pull the trigger, it's saying that you can, you're going to be fine. This is the card, try again, you will succeed. If you decide to get divorced, it's saying that you can do that and you will be fine. But you have a lot of cards coming out around fear. Like you're just afraid to pull the trigger. And I always say, if you don't have clarity, then, that's something that, that you should probably wait then. But it's not showing me today in the cards that there's a big major benefit to you to stay there either. And it's not like love of my life kind of card or feeling. And believe me, sometimes I'll see couples and they'll be on the very, very brink or even already divorced. I've had couples already divorced that I actually remarried again, helped them to get married because I'm a minister and I do those things. And it's something that they can come back together. I've seen people get to the brink, and it's like if they're meant to be, they can bring it back. I'm not getting those cards today. I will just say that I'm not getting the feeling of that this has a lot of life left to it. I'm sorry to say that. But you have to do you, boo. And if security is something that's a big factor for you, then, you have to follow that. It's not my place to tell people what to do. I mean, that's not really the thing. I can just tell you what the pathways look like. And I often do that in sessions, just so you guys know. If you come to me with like, let's say a job, should I take this job, Gretchen? I'll be like, okay, this one has like tons of overtime and it has lots of hours, and you can get extra bonuses whenever, but it's going to be really hard and stressful. Or this other job is really loosey-goosey. You're not going to get paid $1 million, but you have a lot of freedom. You can take your kids to a play or go to the movies or something, whatever thing. It's not my job to decide which one's better for you. It's your job to say, oh, well, actually, I need that overtime, or I need the extra hours, or I need the flexibility, So see, whatever's right for you, it's in your hands, and then you make the decision. And I can do that with the cards, and also I have many tools I use in sessions that I come up with, and then I can give your sort of like, I call it poking my stick down a pathway. I can poke my stick down and just sort of see, okay, this is what this future is going to look like, and then this is what this future is going to look like, and we can kind of suss it out. And then again, I can tell you if it has creepy or bad feelings, like, you know, if it's like, oh, I don't know, that feels yucky or whatever, I can say that. But again, that's your soul's decision. It's not mine. So I hope that helps. Okay, everybody. Well, that was a lot. Ashley Ann, grant deadline tomorrow. Let me look really quickly because oh, that card tried to fly out there. Let me see. No, okay. So that's interesting, right? Here's a case of that for Ashley Ann really quickly on that grant. She was asking me about a grant. If you try to do it tomorrow, it's really stressful. There's a lot of stress. I can't tell you that's good or bad. You got to do you. You know, if you don't have much on your plate, and you can totally handle the stress, and you're like, but the grant is really important to me, then do it. Just because it's stressful doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. But it's like a tight deadline. And there's gonna be a lot of extra work that you have to do to get it. But it feels like you can get it. I mean, it feels like it's within reach. So if it's worth it to you, then do it. Just because it's stressful doesn't mean you can't, you know, you shouldn't do it. All right, everybody. I hope that helps. So again, if you want a personalized astrological session, either send me an email, send me a text message is preferred if you have my number, or through a DM through one of the social medias. You can do that. And I'm going to pull one card. What do we need to know about this week in astrology? All this crazy downloads that we're getting. We have the eclipse, new moon. We have the conjunctions between Saturn and Mars. We have the conjunctions with Mercury and the sun. A lot of energy. This could pay off though. Those of you looking for some money, this can pay off. Prosperity, prosperity, prosperity. Your actions have resulted in incoming abundance. So if you're looking for that. Now here's the thing. I like the word abundance because you can have an abundance of good health. You can have an abundance of love. You can have abundance of not just monetary, though this is a monetary card for sure. And we can all stand to make probably a few extra bucks and some money. So if any of you are in line for a promotion, a raise, or getting some kind of bump up, I mean, remember, we're getting a lot of these downloads that are giving us inspiration to act upon at some point, so that we can maybe up level our lives and possibly our income and possibly our wallets. But remember, it says resulted in incoming abundance. Abundance could be all types of abundance. So if you want an abundance of good health, if you want an abundance of relationships and love, if you want whatever thing you want, maybe you want an abundance of tulips. I don't know, it's the spring, but but we have incoming abundance potentially from all this stuff. We just have to remember, we just have to let it play itself out. All the little kinks and all the little, glitches and stuff, it all has to kind of just sort of even out before we can really before it's like go time. Yeah. So I hope that helps. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more YouTube exclusive updates. And I just love you guys and thank you so much. Namaste, and I hope you enjoyed the eclipse. Bye.